90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. More information is at farmbureauadvantage.com.
The remarkable soybean. From its oil, we get products like ink, candles, and paint. From its meal, we get a high-protein fiber used in foods and animal feeds. Natural soy is replacing chemicals and products you use every day. You can learn more about soybeans at vasoybean.com.
Sponsorship opportunities available that will do just that. Get in touch with us to hatch a new plan. Exhibiting livestock is a popular hobby for people who live and work on farms in Virginia. Showing your finest steer, your best hog, or your top lamb or goat can be a lot of fun. This week we talk with members of the Virginia Holstein Association about exhibiting Holstein cows. We also have a story on crop production in 2017. It was a record year for some growers. Plus, we'll have some tips on controlling predators around the farmstead. Those stories and more on this episode of Virginia Farming. I'm Jeff Ishii. Well, the final results are in, and it looks like 2017 was a banner year for crop producers in Virginia. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, we saw record high yields for both soybeans and peanuts. The final yield for soybeans was 44 bushels per acre, while peanuts yielded 4,550 pounds per acre. For corn growers, it was a good year, but not the best we've ever seen. Corn for grain in Virginia averaged 140 bushels per acre last year. Everything looked good mid-season, and then dry weather late in the growing season, that appeared to cause a setback in most corn fields. All in all, 2017 was a good, solid year for Virginia crop producers. Good Lord willing, we'll see a repeat in 2018. Well, backyard chicken flocks are more popular than ever in Virginia. Hobby poultry enthusiasts are being reminded to take certain precautions to ensure a safe and healthy flock of birds. Poultry health experts say that it is important to isolate your chickens from visitors and other birds. You should also make it a goal to keep hen houses and other poultry areas clean to prevent germs from spreading. Always clean your shoes, your tools, and your equipment. And if your birds are sick or dying, call your local Virginia Cooperative Extension office or your local veterinarian immediately. Well, high-quality cattle production relies on high-quality feed. Bob Severa has the story from the American Angus Association.
Cattle nutrition. It's important throughout the animal's life cycle, but keeping an eye on a few critical points can make all the difference. That's according to Jeff Helt, who's a ruminant nutritionist for micronutrients.
We have to start with the gestating cow. That's first and foremost from a nutrition standpoint. There's been years of research being conducted looking at supplementation strategies and its impact on cow performance, but what we're learning with those supplementation strategies, very critical for fetal development and the outcome of those calves, not only from a production standpoint, but a carcass quality standpoint. So that's the first step.
Then it's taking a critical look at weaning nutrition to be sure calves have enough protein, energy, and minerals.
Protein and energy nutrition are the first drivers for the immune system and really contribute to being able for the body's defense to be able to fight off those disease challenges. We're learning more and more all the time about trace minerals and their importance in the immune system and what they can do. Both those in combination with overall management practices, good management practices, can really improve health of those animals that subsequently improves performance and then the bottom line for all our producers.
Helt says if cattlemen have used the same program for years, it might be time to give it a fresh look.
So these cattle these days have changed dramatically from a genetic standpoint, and so being able to work with some kind of consultant, I would think is probably, or extension educators would be the best in terms of identifying nutritional gaps that may need filled, especially from a cow-calf standpoint. We do have routines established and look at budgets from a feed standpoint that kind of may impact how much we spend and what we spend it on. So being able to get a third party come in and really evaluate those programs, I think is critical to finding those nutritional gaps.
Taking a few extra steps could help ensure trace minerals like copper, zinc, and manganese are adequate.
And so really doing forage samples, feed samples from a cow-calf standpoint, working with a consulting nutritionist to look at those trace mineral levels and identify what may be missing or what may be deficient and fill in those gaps with the different sources that might be available.
Helt also says a few extra pennies here could earn more dollars in the long run. I'm Bob Cervera.
Thank you, Bob, for that report. Virginia farmers are being reminded that the deadline for responding to the Census of Agriculture is February the 5th. Now, after that date, federal officials say that they will begin following up with additional mailings, emails, phone calls, and even personal appointments. To avoid these additional contacts, farmers are asked to complete their census as soon as possible. All information gathered by the census is confidential. More information can be found at the website agcensus.usda.gov. Well, the Virginia Holstein Association recently observed their 100th anniversary. Members say they get a lot of satisfaction when showing their finest animals. It's coming up next during Ag Insights. And we'd like to welcome to the program Lois Skeen. She is from beautiful, wonderful Mount Sidney, Virginia. And Lois, I have to say that because that's where I live.
Right.
You know, we're Mount Sydneyans. But today we're talking about Holstein cows and the Virginia Holstein Association. Let's start with the association. This group of people, you're celebrating your 100th anniversary this year. Tell us about the organization.
Well, we are celebrating our 100th anniversary, and Holstein cattle came from Friesland in Holland in the 1880s, and the Virginia Holstein Association formed 100 years ago with a group of people who decided they wanted to make their cattle more valuable and upgrade their cattle to be more genetically productive. And there's lots of things that are involved with that. Two of the most popular things that we do are a show and a sale, and that gets people involved with registered Holsteins who you can trace their purebred ancestry back for generations.
Now, you talked a little bit about breeding and genetics and productivity. We ran across some statistics recently provided by the Dairy Herd Improvement Association. The Holstein cow is an amazingly productive animal when it comes to fluid milk production. In a matter of one generation, I believe, going from about 1,700 gallons of milk per cow per year in the 1980s, and now that number is somewhere around 3,400 gallons of milk. What does it take to make those cows so productive?
Well, it takes good genetics for one thing, and that's what our registered Holsteins are about, is using the best bulls, and with artificial insemination you can select the bulls that you want to be the fathers of the next generation. It takes good management. A dairyman has to be a nutritionist, a reproductive expert. He has to take very good care and TLC of his cows to get top production, to get them well grown, to get them fed right, to make them comfortable in their housing, and just to pay attention when they're in transition, like at calving or at weaning. It takes a lot of hands-on experience.
Tell us a little bit about your farming operation.
Well, our farming operation, personally, we have 8 acres and raise heifers. So I have a cow here that I have at a neighbor's farm, the Swope Jennings Gap Dairy. They keep my milking animals, and we just enjoy, when my daughters were young, they were in 4-H and in junior Holstein work, and we would come out and show, and I thought that was a very valuable experience because I had that experience growing up on a farm, and even though we only had 8 acres, it teaches the kids so much about responsibility and a good work ethic and to get their hands dirty a little bit. So,
well, Lois, thank you on behalf of everyone, all of our viewers at home, for everything that you do for Virginia agriculture, and specifically with our Holstein Association. And coming up in just a moment, we're going to be talking about the spring show at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds. And And now it's my pleasure to welcome to the program Heather Shin. She is from Fauquier County, Virginia, lives on a dairy farm, and I believe that you are very involved as the show chairman for the spring show of the Virginia Holstein Association. I want to talk about the show and what all goes into organizing a show, but first tell us about your farm.
Well, right now I live on a 60-cow dairy in Fauquier County. It's actually my boyfriend's farm. He started milking from scratch about 2 years ago. So 3 years ago actually now, he started milking about 20 cows, and now he's grown and tripled that up to about 60. And I actually grew up in New Jersey and moved down here about 4 or 5 years ago, and I brought all my cows with me.
Okay.
So all my cows from New Jersey are there now as well.
Well, you grew up on a dairy farm then?
I did not grow up on a dairy farm, but I grew up going to shows through 4-H and FFA with just the heifers like Lois was talking about. I had just my heifers, and I housed my cows somewhere else.
Well, Lois told us a little bit about the history of the Virginia Holstein Association. Now 100 years old the association is, and this spring show, we're not quite sure how old the spring show is, but it's a tradition here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The best Holstein cows from all over the Commonwealth of Virginia generally come to Rockingham County, to the county fairgrounds, and show their best cattle. What all goes into organizing that?
Well, we start planning pretty much the day spring show ends, kind of wrap up, see what we can improve on next year, how everything went. The last few years, the attendance at the spring show has kind of struggled a bit, but last year with our 100th anniversary summer show, we had like a record over of 100 animals, which was really impressive in the last few years. So hopefully we think a little bit of momentum has kind of rolled into spring show, because we have actually 96 entered this spring, which is really impressive. But we send out entries, we have a planning meeting over the winter to kind of figure out who we want to judge, what we want them to do. This year we're incorporating a showmanship workshop tonight before the show, that way the judge can come in and talk to the kids about what she expects for tomorrow, how they should be prepared to show and fit their animals, and then they get a little bit of hands-on experience watching some of the older, more experienced showmen out there in the ring.
Now, of course, we're taping this in April. April, for those of you not familiar with dairy farming, April is a extremely busy time of the year.
Extremely busy,
you talk
yes.
about attendance, and I can expect that a lot of the reason you're planting crops, there's just a lot going on a dairy farm in the spring. Plus the factor that we have fewer dairy farms than we did maybe 10 or 15 years ago here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. What do you foresee for the future of the dairy industry? The kids who are coming up now, do you see any enthusiasm there about the future?
Oh yeah, definitely. They love it. They are great. Our youth association does a wonderful job of getting the kids involved, keeping them involved. I think tonight we're expecting over 20 or 30 kids at this showmanship workshop, so they're definitely doing their part to get the kids involved, and it's showing.
Well, again, thank you for everything that you do for the Virginia Holstein Association and for Virginia agriculture. Heather Shin, dairy farmer, thank you very much for everything you do.
Well, thank you
We'll
for
be back
coming.
in just a moment. And now it's my pleasure to welcome to the program a young lady by the name of Haley Daubert. She is from Rockingham County, Virginia. I believe you live in the community of Dayton, is that correct? How old are you, Haley?
12.
12 years old. And how many of those 12 years have you been showing Holstein cows?
A lot of them.
Most of them,
Most
probably.
of them, yeah.
I suspect she was probably in the show ring in a baby carriage.
Yeah.
Your parents are very involved with agriculture and the dairy industry. Haley, I want to talk about what you do to prepare those animals for the show ring, and then what the judge is looking for. But first of all, tell me more about yourself. I understand you're a member of the Virginia Dairy Maids program. What do you do with that?
We go around promoting the dairy industry, like by giving out stuff and like pamphlets and stuff that tell about the dairy industry to try and teach like people that don't know anything about cows.
Yeah, they probably ask some pretty interesting questions, don't
Yeah.
they? Like what?
Um,
Of course, there's the old favorite of where does chocolate milk come from?
yeah,
Yeah, you get that one a lot.
yeah.
Now let's talk about something that you truly enjoy doing, and that is showing your cows. I believe here at the spring show at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds in 2017, you told me you're showing 5 cows this year. Tell me about each of those.
Well, I have one that was born in December, so she's 3 months old.
Okay.
And then my oldest is 5 years old. And then I have a couple in between that are a year or 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Now, you don't just unload them off the trailer and walk into the show ring.
No.
Step by step, walk me through that process. What are you doing to prepare those animals for the ring?
Well, we practice walking them like as if we were in a ring, even though we're like at home. We walk them around in a circle and practice showing them like we would in the ring. And then we feed them the appropriate feed to make them look their best. And we wash them and clip them to make them look nice and clean.
Now, there's a lot of work. You talk about washing and clipping a cow. There's a lot of skill to that. Now, what's the funnest part about showing cows, and specifically the Holstein cows?
I think the most fun part is just like having fun.
Yeah.
And just like competing against your friends.
Yeah, well, you probably know most of the people here. It's a very tight-knit community, the Virginia dairy community is. Now, what is the judge looking for? When you walk into the ring, what is that judge, what do they want to see?
Well, in showmanship, they want to see how well you can present the animal to the best of their and your ability. So you want to hold their head up so that their back is straight, and you want to have their feet set a certain way so it doesn't make them look like stretched out.
This takes a lot of practice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you practice every day?
Not every day.
How many times a week, you think?
Once or twice a week.
Once or twice. And do you get together with friends sometime and practice with them?
Sometimes, yeah.
Really? Wow. Now, tell me about your future with Virginia agriculture. You're a young lady. Tell me what are your expectations? Do you want to grow up and continue to be working in agriculture?
Yeah.
Are you? What is it that you like about it?
Every day is a new day, and it comes with its different like challenges, but it's all fun. And in the end, you get some pretty good prizes if you work with them enough.
You're right. That is very well said. And dairy farmers, of all farmers, every day is different because they're not only raising the animals and being a veterinarian for the animals, but you've got calves being born on the farm on a regular basis, so they work in the medical field, if you will. You're raising the crops to feed the animals. There's just a lot going on in the dairy industry, and every day, just like you said, is different. Thank you very much for talking with me, and best wishes in everything that you do. And I want to thank everyone who talked with us today at the spring show, the 2017 spring show, the Virginia Holstein Association, here at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds in Harrisonburg, Virginia. We'll be back in just a moment. Predators can cause a lot of damage around a farming operation. Our book review this week takes a look at predators on the farm. The Encyclopedia of Animal Predators allows farmers and livestock producers to learn how to effectively and humanely prevent livestock, poultry, and pets from becoming prey. Published in 2017, this colorful book provides comprehensive profiles of more than 50 animal predators. It teaches you how to identify their habitat, as well as how to learn their tracks and attack patterns. Are you having problems with predators in your free-range chicken flock? Is it a coyote? Maybe it's a raccoon, or even a bobcat that's doing the damage. Author Janet Donner provides the reader with hundreds of colorful illustrations showing everything from the common skunk to the powerful black bear, from the ever-present possum to the dangerous mountain lion, and from black vultures to snapping turtles. If you've ever operated a livestock farm, you know that predators can be a major issue. This book provides the reader with options on how to control those problems in an efficient and humane manner. It is a great book not only for experienced farmers, but young people involved with 4-H and FFA, scouting programs, as well as pet owners. The Encyclopedia of Animal Predators is 279 pages, soft-bound, and is well illustrated. The book is available through numerous resources. Our pearl of wisdom this week comes from founding father Benjamin Franklin, who once observed that well done is better than well said. That does it for our show this week. Have a great week, everyone. I'm Jeff Ishii for Virginia Farming. And now for your Ag Trivia question of the week, the answer when we return.
"90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. Anyone can be a Farm Bureau member, and there's a local Farm Bureau in every county. More information is at vafarmbureau.org.
Virginia soybean farmers are hard at work growing soybeans to produce products you use every day. Candles, soaps, even crayons can be made from soybeans. Remember, when you buy soy, you're helping to support American jobs, the economy, and our nation's energy security.
Hi, I'm Jeff Ishii.
And I'm Amy Rocher with Virginia Farming. We'd like to invite you to become more involved with the show by submitting your own video reports.
If you're involved with a non-commercial organization such as Young Farmers, FFA, a county farm bureau, or perhaps a commodity organization associated with Virginia agriculture, you can submit your own video report to be considered for our program.
Video reports should be 60 to 90 seconds and recorded in high definition. It's simple. Just use your smartphone set on 1080p at 30 frames per second. Always shoot in the horizontal mode and keep the background noise down if possible. And the file format should be MOV or MP4.
And then just send us a link so we can download it here at our studios. It's just that easy.
In 60 to 90 seconds, tell us what's going on with your organization and how it relates to Virginia agriculture. Contact us about specific video requirements at our website, virginiafarming.com.
We look forward to seeing your video reports on Virginia Farming. Would you like to put your business in front of rural America and the ag community every week? We have sponsorship opportunities available that will do just that. Contact us to find out how you can milk it for all it's worth. And now the answer to your ag trivia question of the week. The top county for hay production is Augusta County in the Shenandoah Valley. In 2016, farmers in Virginia produced more than $350 million worth of hay.